Good morning. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. Um, Make sure that you have either graded with the sub page 303 or put it in the tray or given to the sub so that we can get that graded. If you're getting behind on homework, make sure you are getting it all turned in because Friday's the end of the quarter. Um, I hope you're not only counting down till Christmas, but you're counting down the end of the quarter because I don't want a bunch of zeros in there lowering people's grades for the end of the quarter. So make sure that you're getting those turned in, okay? All right, so today we are doing lesson 6, which is dividing whole numbers by fractions. A vocabulary word that we need to know is reciprocals. Reciprocals are basically the upside down, flip flopped version of a number, kind of the opposite. So 2/3, we flip upside down, that's 3/2, right? So it's just, remember when we did the keep, change, flip? This is the flip. So 2/3 times 3/2 would be 1, okay? Because these would cancel and these would cancel, and it would just be 1. So the reciprocal, excuse me, would be 3/2. Okay, so make sure that you know that that's what that word means. Reciprocal means the flipped upside down version of a number. Okay, okay, whoops. And the official definition is any two numbers with a product of 1. So when you multiply them, you end up with 1. That's how you know it's a reciprocal. So the relationship between the numerator and denominator of a number and its reciprocal would be, let me move this so I can show you, just that they change positions, okay? They flip upside down, they change positions. Now, another name for reciprocal, sometimes you'll see, is called multiplicative inverse, okay? That means that when you multiply, it's the inverse or the upside down version of that number. So in everyday language, you could say reciprocate, reciprocity, invert, flip flop, whatever you want to say. Pilots can fly in an inverted position, that's upside down, where the cockpit is down instead of up. And they do that sometimes, at air shows, in the military, things like that. Okay, so inverse means flip flopped. If you had 1/2 and they did the inverse, it'd be 2/1. Okay, all right, let's go on to page 306 then. Okay, so finding reciprocals, dividing 3 by 1/2 gives the same result as multiplying 3 by 2. And we've talked about that before, how if you're cutting something in half, you're splitting it into 2 parts. So that would be the same thing as multiplying by 2. And that's because the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2/1. Any two numbers with a product of 1, again, are reciprocals. So 3 divided by 1/2, if we do the inverse and multiply by the inverse, or the reciprocal, that would be 3 times 2 is 6. Okay? So the reciprocal of 2/3. Since 2/3 times 3/2 is 1, the reciprocal is 3/2. You could just look at this as they are flipping, and it would be 3/2. The reciprocal of 1/8, well, since 1/2 times 1/8 times 8/1 is 1, that means the reciprocal or the inverse would be 8/1. You just flip it, okay? So the reciprocal of 5, first, before you can do that, you have to put 5/1, make it into a fraction, okay? Once you've done that, to find the inverse or the reciprocal, you just flip it, and it would be 1/5, okay? So the reciprocal of 5 is 1/5. See how easy that is? Okay, so find the reciprocal of each number. I want you guys to pause the video for a second try to write these down and then unpause the video and check your answers, okay? Okay, so 3/5 flipped upside down would be 5/3. 1/3 reciprocal flipped upside down would be 3/1. Now 11 is a little bit harder. First you have to put it over 1, okay? And then find the reciprocal would be 1/11. They're not equal, sorry. I shouldn't have put equal sign in there. The reciprocal is 1/11. Okay? All right, let's go to page 307. Now, dividing by a fraction. So to be able to divide by a fraction, first you change the sign to multiply. You find the reciprocal of the number and flip it upside down and multiply. Now, it's important that you know to flip the second one, not the first number. We're going to do keep the first number, change the sign to multiply, and then find the reciprocal, which would be 3/2. So I always do the little keep, change, flip. Keep the first number, change your sign, flip the second number. The flip is the reciprocal. Okay? That's all that means. Keep, change, flip. Keep the first number, change the sign to multiply. So 2 times, and then flip. Okay? So we have the division expression 5 divided by 2/3 is read as 5 divided by 2/3. You need to find how many 2/3 are in 5. So it would be like when we were doing the inquiry lab, starting with a board that's 5 feet long, cutting it into 5 sections, and then finding what 2/3 of 5 feet is. Okay. All right. So find 2 divided by 1/3. So we're going to write it in simplest form. Here's the model version. Whoa, the model version. We start off with 2. You got this cut in 2 sections. They're doing 1/3 in each section, just like we did with the inquiry lab. And then you count the number of 1/3 sections you have, which you have 6. So 6 would be the answer. Well, for method 2 with our math, we have 2 divided by 1/3. We're going to find the fraction version of 2, which is 2/1. So we keep, change the sign to multiply. That's our change. And then find the reciprocal or the inverse of 1/3, which is 3/1. So then 2 times 3 is 6/1 or 6. Okay. Okay, so let's do this with example number 5. Find 7 divided by 2/3. So 7, we're going to make 7/1. We have to make it into a fraction. We change the sign to times or multiply, and then find the reciprocal of 2/3, which the upside down version is 3/2. Okay, so now we just multiply. 7/1 times 3/2 would be 21/2, and 21/2, let's see, 2 goes into 21 10 times, which would be 20, and then we would have 1/2 left over. So 10 1/2 is the answer for that. Now, again, I want you guys to pause the video, do D, E, and F, and then you can come back and check your answers in just a second, okay? All right, for D, I'm going to work this up here. We have 6, we need to make into a fraction, 6/1. We're going to change this sign to multiply, and we're going to find the reciprocal of 1/3, flip it, 3/1 equals 18/1, which is 18. So we're going to put 18 here for D, okay? Now for E, the whole number is 5. We're going to make it 5 over 1. We're going to change the sign to multiply. And for 2/3, we're going to find the reciprocal, which is 3 over 2. That's the flip. And multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 goes into 15 7 times, which is 14. Uh-oh, I ran out of room. And we would have 1/2 left over. So 7 and 1/2 for that. Now F, we have 4 divided by 3/4, so that'd be 4 over 1. And then change the sign to times. 3/4, we're going to find the reciprocal of 3/4, which flip it is 4/3. 4 times 4 is 16. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 goes into 16 5 times, which is 15. And then we have 1/3 left over. So 5 and 1/3 is that answer. Okay. All right. Let's go to page 308. You can have word problems with this. It says at summer camp, the duration of a field hockey game is 3/4 of an hour. The camp counselors have set aside 6 hours for field hockey games. How many games can be played? Okay, we have 6 hours, and each game is 3/4 of an hour. So we're going to do 6 divided by 3/4. So we're going to do the keep, change, flip. 6 would be 6 over 1 times, change the sign to times. 3/4 flipped upside down is 4/3. We can simplify here. We can divide by 3. And then we get 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1, or 8. They can play 8 games. Now, if you get an answer that is less than what you started with, the 6 hours, you know you did it wrong. And you need to check and make sure you did the keep, change, flip. Okay? All right. That's the guided practice. Let's go to your homework, page 309. Let me just double check, but I think we are doing 1 through 12. Yep, doing the whole page, just this front. So these, you're just finding the reciprocal. Remember, that's your flip for 1 through 3. For 4 through 9, you are doing what we were just doing, keep, change, flip. Okay. And then 10, 11, and 12 are word problems. Remember, start it out as a division problem and then do your keep, change, flip to get your answer. And again, remember, if your answer is smaller than what you started with, you've done it wrong. Okay. So make sure your answer at the end is bigger than what you start with. Okay. And that is everything for today. If you need more help, rewind the video, go back and look at that. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.